Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. New brewery time. Love new brewery time. A little bit of a twist. New brewery time. New Belgian brewery time? That's a weird one. I cut my teeth on Belgian beer. But when I see something that piques my interest, we drink it. Brasserie de Légendes. This is their HERCULE Stout. Know nothing about this brewery. I feel like I've drank beers from this brewery before, but I can't be for sure, so we're going to treat it as a virgin experience. We're going to start talking about what's on the label, and we'll go from there. Brasserie de Légendes, HERCULE Stout. It's a Belgisch beer and Belgian beer. It says here, HERCULE Stout is an English-style stout. Dark in color, brewed with roasted barley. It's very mild with a creamy beige head, hints of mocha and chocolate. Our master brewer makes our beers in Azels in the heart of the Pays de Colonies. Okay. The thing that kind of took me for a couple things. One, you give me a Belgian stout with a flip top girl's top. I'm in. But it says it's imported by Pontier Imports, Stockertown, PA. I purchased this at a beer shop called Stockertown Beverage. They have to be importing this on their own accord. They're a wholesale distributor. I did not know they physically imported stuff. There's no way they didn't import this. There's nothing else in Stockertown. It's a podunk town. So that also piqued my interest. So we'll see what's what. And that's all we got. Like I said, you get that nice kind of label with the nice roll flip top. Let's see where this sucker lands. So it could be great. It could be hot garbage. It's pouring out of a glass with, a Belgian-based kind of stout. I'm not going to sit here and... It's an English stout brewed by a Belgian brewery, but I'm not going to get too hot and bothered over it pouring out. But we'll see what's what. Label-wise, anytime, that looks old school. I'm getting a flip top. I'm a sucker for the classics, and this very much looks classic, so I can dig on that. Beer-wise, it looks all the part of a Belgian-style stout. I'm turbid, because it's not all that dark of a beer. It actually, while it poured, and if you saw, you definitely get a little bit of light through there, but when it's in the glass, there's no light. When I hold it up to a light, nothing, because it's got a decent turbidity to it, which kind of makes sense. A lot of Belgian beers tend to be quite turbid. 2 fingers of malt and malt ball colorhead, because this guy can't pour beers correctly. Well, I was pretty active jumping out of there, but it looks the part of a nice rich stout. Belgian, sure, that kind of big head kind of makes sense with a beer like this. Actually, you know what? Is there an ABV on this? Did I skip it or miss it? Because I'm kind of curious now. We're going to have to look it up towards the end of... Oh, nope. 9%. So there you go. 9%, and this is a 11.2 fluid ounce bottle. Let's see if we can get a nose to this head. Cheers, y'all. Yeah, it's kind of flirting the lines between a standard English-style strong stout, and there is a Belgian DNA in this. I'm going to tell you that, and I think it probably has to do with a yeasty portion I show here, because there's a nice, rich, toffee-like roasted maltiness to it. Nothing too big. Comes off rich, but at the same time, kind of like the smells you get in a sweeter bread kind of bakery, as opposed to a confectionery kind of cakey kind of bakery. Roasted malts, creaminess. You can smell creaminess. It's like magic. But this perception of this beer being soft and creamy, and then it just, again, multiple levels of chocolate, a little bit of sweetness, maybe a little bit of roasted malts, done and done. But there is this kind of little sweetness that I associate a lot with Belgian candied sugar, but I think it's sweet and it has a Belgian yeast, so I'm kind of associating those two things, because it's 9% as a stout. So we'll see what's what. I think it smells quite nice in the nose. Let's put it that way. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. That's nice, actually. It's an interesting beer because it's very much English. like I said, on the nose, it definitely came off more like Belgian DNA for me. But on the taste, it's very, very English for a couple different reasons. The way the roasted malts kind of come off in here, I don't think that's inherently a Belgian trait. I think that it's mostly an American trait, but you definitely get that in a lot of English stouts. Not overly bittering, overly roasty toasty, but it's definitely there. It's the hops in this that are really coming off like English because they're very, very herbal, very tannic, very pink golden fuggly, that kind of thing going on. There's this little pop of sweetness that I associate a lot with Belgian candied sugar. Again, I got this kind of precursor of Belgian thing on the nose, and you get this little thing that I associate Belgian candied sugar on the taste. I think it's just the sweetness of the beer that's doing it, but it makes me think of Belgian quads and doubles, the way the sweetness kind of comes off. Really full, pillowy. That's the word I wanted to look at. It's pillowy and soft mouthfeel, almost like porter-esque, but when you think about English stout, it kind of makes sense in that way. Drinks creepily easily. You're not getting 8 and 9% here as far as alcohol or anything like that. Maybe a little singe. So, you're drinking something heft, but when you have that softness in the mouthfeel, it goes a long way to making the beer a bit drinkable, but it's not like hitting way under its weight class. You don't feel like you're drinking something big enough to warrant the cost and the ABV. I like this. I think it's quite tasty. Really well made. These kind of big, rich, roasted, malty beers that are soft at this darker in this ABV level are like prime real estate for that metallic astringency I can get. None of that here, so it's made hyper well, hyper clean. I think it's very, very tasty. Is it rewriting the book on English stout for me? No. Is it one of the best stouts I've ever had in my life? But is it one of the better stouts I've had? Core 4 base stouts that I've had as of late? Yeah. I just had a Core 4 base stout from my boy Sean from Awkward Handshakes Brewing. I should have used his glass for this. That would have been nice. And I think his is just as good. I think this is just as good as that. Markedly different beers. But man, it's been a while since I've had some really good Core 4 kind of stouts, base stouts. And this is footing the bill. There's a cool twist on this. The softness of the mouthfeel, that little bit of bittering, tannic kind of hoppiness, it really kind of plays like in a really fun way, and I dig it. And since I haven't had those beers in quite some time, it's the old Eddie Murphy joke where if you have a plain crappy cracker after getting off the desert, it's like best cracker you ever had, and even though it's a plain shitty cracker. I'm dating myself by quoting Eddie Murphy Raw, or was it Delirious? Either way, I'm dating myself. I think this is quite tasty and a fun experience. Having a beer from a Belgian brewery I never had before, picked up at a weird place that is importing stuff that I never knew they imported stuff. All around, it was a fun experience. I'm glad I dove into it. Fun beer, tasty beer. I'm here for it. I just wanted to rhyme. So yeah, let's talk about it. Is this one of the better Core 4, or should I say English style stouts? Stouts. One of the better Core 4 stouts I've had. Is like, yes, Mount Rushmore status. I mean, it almost defaults to that because when's the last time I reviewed a Core 4 stout? If we go back a year or two, it's in the conversation. It's eking up towards the top, but something about it I dig. Maybe it's the nostalgia of the Grolsch top. I don't know. I dig it. Let's put it that way. Value availability. $5 off the shelf. So you're talking about $20 for 4-packs. It's a little bit pricey, but as a import from Belgium, new brewery, I'm not going to get too angry at it. Plus, I can get a single at $5. So, and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like English style stouts, if you like Core 4 stouts, I think you'd really dig this. Brasserie de Légendes. Have you had their beers? Have you been to the brewery? Have you had this beer? What's your favorite beer from them? If you had a bunch, all that fun stuff down there. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of flip-top goodness right now. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.